Hello, it's Michael, and it's May 30th, 2023. By the way, do you like these jeans? In one of my previous videos, you met an individual named James, and James gave me two pairs of pants. Someone gave James two pairs of pants, and James couldn't fit those pants. So James asked if I would like to have these pants, and I said, why not? They fit my size. You know, from that fasting I did a while back, I lost quite a bit of weight, so my pant size changed, and it just so happened these pants that James offered me were an exact size. Also like the fact that, you know, this particular pair is Carhartt jeans, and you know, I have a Carhartt shirt already. I like clothes that are tactical grade or industrial grade because they just last longer, right? You can wash them as many times as you want and they hold up. And so I'm out today, and I was thinking about getting a quick bite to eat, and this Mediterranean restaurant opened up recently, and it's a restaurant I'm familiar with, and I want to do something today that put me very much in the mind of what this restaurant offered, but I wanted to do it with ingredients that I personally selected and that I could control the cost. And so I'm going to show you an affordable alternative in terms of like a Mediterranean style meal that you can piece together on the go. So if you're near a Kroger, a Walmart, or an Aldi, or in this case all three, as I will show you, then you can actually get some ingredients, you can put them together, and it's a great way to like consolidate your meal ingredients in one go and do it without a microwave, without a stove, and still end up with something that fuels you up for several hours and is very healthy. So stay tuned to my adventures in putting together a Mediterranean bowl that with hummus that is rather good. Let's start this process with beans and rice. And so I see a few options here, and I like the idea of basmati rice in this particular process, but I think I'm going to go with this wild rice blend. As far as beans, I want to use garbanzo beans, although there are other options available. I also looked at noodles, but that's kind of out of scope, but I like the non-GMO label on all the foods that I've selected so far. And so I'll keep that in mind for these noodles in the future. Preheating the rice, right? I don't have a microwave. I'm not going to use a microwave or anything like that. So I'm just going to use the natural sun to warm things up. So I'm going to sit it out in the car, let the heat, since it's kind of like, summertime, I know I have a coat on because it's cold inside the store. So then I'm gonna go get some hummus, right? But while I'm looking at hummus, I noticed that coconut oil and olive oil here is at a very good price, so keep that in mind for the future. So you put it all together, and you got your different ingredients, such as the mixed greens, you got the beans, hummus, and the price overall was about $9.13. Came together really well. I have my usual container here that has all of my stuff to go, and I have a glass container there which I'm going to put all the food, but I'm going to pick out some spices. I got curry seasoning, and I got some sesame seeds, and I'm just going to mix that in with a little masago seaweed to add a little sodium to it. And so far so good with all of that, but the glass container is going to help me keep everything in good shape in terms of being able to eat this without having food items spill over. I'm going to take a gallon size Ziploc bag, and I'm going to pour all the ingredients into the Ziploc bag, and then I'm going to have the Ziploc bag on top of this glass container. And the advantage of that is the glass base is going to keep the fork from penetrating the Ziploc bag, too much versus like styrofoam. So that's going to be how I wanted to roll with that here. And at the same time, using the gallon size Ziploc bag, reduces the amount of cleanup I have to do on the container. So they both work together. I also have my plastic forks here, so I can go ahead and pull one of those out and use that as my utensil of choice for this particular meal. And I can also use that for getting out the hummus and using that with the meal. So I got all my different utensils. I got my utensil. I got my gallon Ziploc bag. You know, it's not really Ziploc, but you know, I just like to use the term Ziploc. So I'm going to open up these mixed greens, and you know, the best way to do that is just pull the tab up at the top, and it usually goes a little easier. And then I'm going to dump that inside the gallon Ziploc, because what that'll allow me to do is shake all the ingredients together so that I can get a really good mix of everything, right? So pretty straightforward, and I'm just going to pour the whole bag in there, because if I don't eat everything, I can then reseal that bag and use it for leftovers. So that's one of the strategies that I use for this process. Then I do have a little bit of olive oil that I'm going to pour in there later. But first I'm going to put in this rice. Now the rice isn't entirely separated right now, but there's enough moisture that's packed into the container that when I put it into the Ziploc bag here and I close the Ziploc bag, I'll be able to separate the rice pretty easily just using my fingers, right? So that's going to be one way to go about that. And then I want to put in the spices, right? So the curry powder plus sesame seed, because you know sesame seeds have natural copper elements that your body needs. So that's one of the reasons why I wanted sesame seeds. And of course, this curry powder has a mix of cumin, fenugreek, turmeric, different seasonings that will be good for your health, right? So that's the main reason I did that. What I like about this particular packaging of the chickpeas or garbanzo beans is that you don't need a can opener. So you can just pull that tab right up. Now, thing is, I could take that liquid that's in there and use it as is. That would help moisturize some of that rice. But I decided this time around I didn't want the liquid mixed in with my food. So I'm going to pour that liquid into the bag where the greens were, right? Because I'm going to throw that away later, right? So I'm just going to pour all the liquid into here. And these bags are sealed well enough at the bottom that they don't leak. So you just pour all of that liquid in there, and some of the chickpeas will fall in there. I don't need every chickpea, right? It's just, just a little bit of the chickpeas fall out, but that's fine. I'll get the majority of them into the container. And then I just put all that aside. And then I'm going to use the Kroger bag as my garbage bag, right? And then I can throw all of the things away later on, right? So now I got chickpeas, I got rice, I got mixed greens, and so I'm off to a good start as far as my elements go. And then I'm going to shake this up and give it a really good shake. Mix, use my hand to separate the rice. And then by using the sealed Ziploc bag like this, I'm able to get everything distributed the way I want, so I don't have to worry about stirring it with a fork, right? And so this Ziploc shaking technique is extremely handy when it comes to taking salads in particular, or any food items where you want to distribute all the elements together and mix them together. Because when I have the opportunity to cook, I use this technique to mix up different ingredients, right? Before I put them into like a stir fry or an air fryer or whatever you might have. And like I said before, I'm gonna take this. This is olive oil and seaweed blend, right? I think it's Yukami or Masago. I don't remember the name, but anyway, it's very salty, this seaweed mix, and so that's going to add a little bit of sodium to the mixture here. So I'm going to pour that in there and give it just a little bit of a kick, right? And so it's still a Mediterranean meal at this point, but it's one that is going to have a little bit of extra sodium, natural sodium, as well as the other beneficial aspects of these sea greens, right? it's very similar to sea moss, right, in terms of the nutritional benefit. And then I'm going to seal this bag up and shake it up again just so I can distribute things a little bit more. It's always a good idea to shake up your salad like this, as thoroughly as you can so that you can have a very enjoyable mix. So now with all of that done, I just put everything into the glass container and I'm ready to consume this. If you have scissors handy, you can actually cut that Ziploc bag in half so that it's easier to access it with the fork, right? So that's another pro tip in terms of like getting that together. So I'm gonna put this glass container in my lap, right? And I'm gonna put the hummus nearby, and then that's how I'm going to consume that. And I'm gonna eat all of this hummus, right? So I'm either gonna eat half of this meal, right? Half of these elements and half of this hummus, or I'm gonna eat all of it and eat all of the hummus. But I like having the hummus with this because basically, like I say, it makes everything taste a whole lot better. I'm out here with a good meal, Mediterranean inspired, with hummus, and all is good.